Welcome to the Math Show for the SAT with Mr. DeClerico. Today, we're going to do a problem involving equivalent expressions. Which expression is equivalent to 10xy squared minus 30x squared y to the sixth? Consider options A through D, pause the video, and try this problem on your own. Alright, I'll assume we're ready to continue. The correct answer is D. Let's look at some tips. Distributing the 10xy squared is going to work eventually. We see that answers A through D each feature a 10xy squared that's been factored out of what's left in the parentheses. If we were to redistribute that 10xy squared, we'll get our original two-termed expression eventually. However, there's some benefit to practicing our factoring. So we're going to try factoring first. Then I'll show you how distributing the 10xy squared will work for one of the answers A through D, specifically, of course, D. So we'll start with our original two-termed expression. We know that we're factoring out a 10xy squared. Now, since we started with two terms, we're going to have two terms left over in the parentheses. So that means that A and B are right out. They are not the answer. So we're left with C or D. Which one is it going to be? Well, let's look at that first term. 10xy squared times what is going to get me my original 10xy squared? Well, that of course is the multiplicative identity. 1. And we knew that was going to be the first term. C and D both have that as the first term in the parentheses. Now let's look at the second term. This one's a little more tricky. Let's look at those constants, 10 and 30. 10 times what equals 30? Well, that's going to be 3. That was pretty easy. But now we have to look at these variables, and we're going to need to remember some laws of exponents. Power times a power, add exponents. So we need to think to ourselves, x times what gets me x squared? Well, that's going to be x, because x to the 1 times x to the 1 gets me x to the 2. Same applies for y. Y squared times y to the 4th gets me y to the 6th. And that means that D must be the correct answer. Like I said before, when I was talking about the tips, we can just distribute that 10xy squared. For answers C and D, the only truly legitimate options, D is the one that works. If we distribute that 10xy squared into 1 minus 3xy to the 4th, we would get our original expression. Again, remember, power times power, add exponents. And as long as you got answer D, this paramecium you may have seen in biology thinks that you did a good job. Thanks for watching the Math Show for the SAT with Mr. DeClerico. Be sure to click subscribe, hit the like button, and all that good stuff.